Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 396, recorded on October 13th, 2022. On tonight's episode, we talk about Overwatch 2, the latest Splatfest, and Uncle Jesse answers some of your questions. Jesse, you know what to do. And welcome to the Nintendo Dads episode 396. As I said, recorded today on October 13th, 2022. On tonight's episode, I have my friend here, Jesse. How you doing, Jesse?
Pretty good. I don't remember if I didn't talk about it last week. I don't remember if it was last weekend or the weekend before, but I decided to take another run at the antique mall where I've to look to see if there's any new legacy tech that they have available to pick up. That's where I got the Famicom Disk System.
Right.
So the first thing that catches my eye is a mod of the Atari 2600 for composite out. But they wanted $100 for it. I'm like, nah, not for $100. Then I found an Apple II. Like 2 Plus or 2C, I don't remember which model. I still haven't taken it out of the box yet. It came with, the system, 2 floppy drives, and a bunch of software for $270. And I'm like, I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to pick this up because I wanted to actively looking for an Apple like 15 years ago. Something I wanted to play with, okay, and couldn't find one that I was willing to spend that much money on. Right. Because like you go to eBay, like a fully put together setup will still cost $1,000-$1,500, including 2 disk drives and a monitor. So
that's crazy.
I ended up finding a monitor that I think should be compatible on eBay for a little under $200. So okay. It's still a full kit for about $500. So when that monitor comes in, then I'll set up that machine upstairs on the kitchen table, because my workbench down here is full of other projects that I'm in the middle of. So, and then
which we were just talking about in pre-show, weren't we?
Right. And then for something else that I picked up I ordered it yesterday. That is probably something I shouldn't have ordered it, but if I didn't order it right then, I probably wouldn't be able to find it when I want it.
Right.
You heard that the new video cards dropped yesterday?
Yes, I did.
The RTX 4090?
Yes.
I have an order. I have an order in.
You're starting your collection of parts for your next build, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not going to use it in this one, because it's not worth slapping it into here. But yeah, so like this spring, I will start building Maui 2.0, I guess.
Nice.
The next overpowered system.
Awesome.
When I built this thing in spring of 2017, so just before the Switch launched, and at the time everything was the best I can squeeze in there and state of the art. It hasn't started showing age yet, but okay. It's now that he still has a 1080 card, so it's 3 generations of video card old. So it'll be interesting to see how much faster video rendering is with that card. Yeah.
You'll have to compare it with your data that you have now with what you've been able to do now. Compare it once you got everything hooked up. So, yeah. And meanwhile, while you're collecting new things and old things, I've also picked up something from shopping, and that's this Lego Brickheads, Obi-Wan nice. Kenobi and Darth Vader. So, hey, it was $20. I didn't even know it was a thing, so I was excited to find it. So, you ever have those times where you go into somewhere, you're not expecting something, and then you're like, hey. Well, of course you did, because you weren't expecting an apple.
I bought an apple.
You bought an apple. All right. Well, let's get the show going and start with the news.
Whoops. Let's try that again.
And shout out to our Patreons at patreon.com/NintendoDads for bringing this to us. They are sponsors of the news. And you can be a Patreon too if you go to patreon.com/NintendoDads. But before I get started over with the headlines, I also want to give a shout out to the Winter Gamer who stopped by, even though he has no power. He has no power and he wants to stop by and say hi. Shout out to Winter Gamer.
Dedication.
Right? And then Mecha Dragon, of course, has stopped by as usual, right on time. So making sure we're here. So, all right, with the news, we got so much news, Jesse. I don't know how we can pack it all in and one out and all this time, you know. We're gonna be here all night.
Well, you can blame Justin for a 20-minute segment of it.
Well, it's a hot topic apparently. So we figured thank you to Justin for at least, unfortunately, he's not able to be on the show with us, but at least he was able to give us a video. So we have something to talk about besides some of the other things we have to talk about. So, but before we start Justin's video, let's go over some quick news items, such as we have our next Splatfest, which is announced. And I don't know, Jesse, you might be interested in this. It's you got to pick between the 3 starters options. So it's a crossover between Splatoon and Pokemon, where you have to pick one of 3 types: grass type, fire type, or water type. So
yeah,
now you want to
I know which team I would pick, but it doesn't mean I'm going to buy the game and actually participate in it.
Which team?
Because that would require me to actually play the game. I would pick fire type, of course.
Okay. Of course. It has to be fire type. I looked at this and I was all excited about it, but then I realized that every game I think I've started something new. I always started something different. So every game I've played, and I can't remember which one I've been more consistent with. I want to say fire type because that's probably the one I always lean towards picking the first, but I always try to pick something I didn't before whenever playing a new Pokemon game, or at least for me, because I don't play all the Pokemon games, but when I do, I try to pick something different. So I think so. It's going to be tough for me to pick. I'm probably going to lean towards fire type as well, but I don't know yet. So we'll see. I'll see when I actually dive in there and pick.
Yeah, I always pick the fire type.
Okay. Yeah, it usually depends on the character and what I think is going, like, I look at it like this. The way I've been picking lately is whichever one starts off the hardest to use is the one I end up with. Because I figure if it starts off hard, then it's usually more powerful towards the end, is my theory.
Well, I know, but in Gen 1, the fire type would be your hard mode, just because, Gym 1 is rock type, so,
okay.
Squirtle is your easy mode, and Bulbasaur is easy, because, rock is weak to both. And then Gym 2 is a water type, which is, fire is at the disadvantage.
All right. I didn't look at it that way. I was more thinking of like, which one's going to be OP when it changes over. So, but yeah, that's Splatoon's got a crossover with Pokemon, which is really cool. So, and that's going to be.
Becca says he picks it based on which one has the most kawaii.
Of course. So, but if I can say it here, the Splatfest, the Splatoon X Pokemon event will take place Friday, November 11th at 4 p.m. to Sunday, November 13th at 4 p.m. And these are Pacific times. So unfortunately, we'll miss our extra life window, but we have something to look forward to mid-month. So, and of course, anybody who's on our team who wants to do their extra life that weekend, there's something for you to do. So we'll also keep trying to remind you every week as well. It'll be in our events section going forward. So we'll keep posted there. And bonus thing that I found out is that, did you know Nintendo Australia has real life t-shirt representation of each of these options? Which I didn't know.
and I kind of want one.
I know, I'm the same. I'm same here. So, and I want to know how to get one. That would be super cool. It's like when one region does it, it's like I always wish the other regions would do it too, but they never do. So, or it comes later. But anyways, I'll move on. The latest firmware update has been added to the Nintendo Switch, and it allows you to take screenshots in NSO, in the NSO
Yeah,
apps.
I didn't know that wasn't an option until I literally tried it like 3 days before this update went live.
Yeah.
Because, because they're doing Legend of Zelda stuff.
Right.
So I just said, I'm just going to buy everything on this page. It was like 20 items. They have no bulk purchase option. I have to pick each one at a time. That is time consuming with multiple presses per purchase.
Yeah.
So halfway through, I wanted to take a screenshot of it and put it on Twitter saying there needs to be a bulk buy option. But it said, no, you can't take a screenshot now. So I said, okay, that's what OBS is for.
Right.
I used the Windows clip tool and copied it from there.
There you go.
I made my own screenshot. But now, if I did the same thing, should actually work. I haven't had a chance to try it yet.
Nice. And it's about time though, too, because there's been a few times kind of similar situations where I wanted to take a screenshot of something. So, but
yeah. Apparently video capture is still not available, but still
okay.
Images, still images are available.
We're halfway there. We're halfway there.
And they're on week 2 of the Zelda icons, which is now featuring Best Girl Mifa.
Okay. Nice.
So I need to remember to log in and pick those up.
Mecha Dragon says for DLC only, even more weird.
He said that you could take screenshots of eShop, so it was weird that you couldn't take it of the NSO.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. And also in the news, Capcom begins their Mega Man 35th anniversary celebration, which Marty, I'm sure, will be very excited for, especially if he can get his hands on some of those t-shirts that they are designing for the 35th anniversary. They reveal a logo for the 35th anniversary, and they will be celebrating, or the date is actually December 17th, 2022, but they started it by sharing the 35th anniversary logo. And of course, like I said, they'll have merch around that. So if you're a Mega Man fan, you're not as big as a Mega Man fan as Marty, but you're still allowed to go and participate in this. So,
so going back a bit, Mecha elaborated. He means that if you're playing a game that has multiple DLCs, you can bulk buy that. But you can't.
Gotcha. All right, gotcha.
You can't bulk buy games. You have to do that one at a time, and then just the avatar items you can't bulk buy that.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah, it's weird how they decide what you can bulk buy and what you can't. So they're making it too similar to Animal Crossing, where you can't bulk buy things there either. All right. And then finally, in game releases, something that Jesse's super excited about, Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden comes out January 19th, 2023. I'm also excited about it. I just don't have the time for those games.
Right. But whether I'll have time or not is to be determined, but right. I still want them.
Yes. Same here. We'll see. It all depends on
just the music in those games are just so good.
Right. Then did you buy any of the soundtracks for those? Do you own any of them or download them?
Yeah, I think I had soundtracks for all 3 of those games.
Okay.
3, 4, and 5. When I bought Persona 4 for PS2, it came with the soundtrack.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, I noticed that there was one of the games I've been playing actually. Well, it's not a soundtrack, it's an art book, but I noticed you can buy the art book in the Nintendo eShop. So I thought that was interesting. It's like, does that mean it's something I can buy and load on my Switch and just look at it on my Switch?
I imagine it would be DLC for one of the games. I don't think it'd be by itself, would it?
I don't know. I was tempted to buy it just to find out, but it was $5. So I was like, I like the game, but I don't know yet. We'll see. Maybe after I'm finished it, maybe I'll change my mind. But anyways, that's what we got going on there for the news. But Justin has more on Overwatch 2. Let's see what he's got to say about that.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, similar to what I did last time, he gave me a 20-minute long video. Is we'll play it, and if we want to pause it to comment on something, we'll do that.
Yes.
So here we go.
You're the Overwatch fan. You've been super excited. So I figure I'll do a little section of what I've been playing, but I've been playing some Overwatch. Let's talk about Overwatch, Overwatch 2 specifically, and what my thoughts are on the game as it released. Now, first and foremost, you might be aware that I am a bit of a online fan of games, right? Battle Pass, free to play, all those kind of games. But I'm also actually a really big Overwatch fan. The original Overwatch I put in about 75 hours on. PS, I didn't own it anywhere except for on the Nintendo Switch. So there's an idea of how much I really, really enjoy it. And I was super, super excited to jump into Overwatch 2. And I will say that overall, I'm very excited and pleased by what I'm seeing with Overwatch 2. Now, you can put aside all of the challenges that Overwatch has been facing since the launch. For those of you that are not in the know, on the day of the launch, it had a DDoS attack, which meant you were able to actually finally update the game. By the way, I was traveling at that time, and it took my hotel Wi-Fi approximately 3.5 hours to finally update. Once it updated, I saw the icon, the logo on my Switch change. I was excited to jump in. And then I was met by queues of over 2,000 people. To say that the launch of Overwatch 2 has been a little bit rocky is kind of a little bit of an understatement. For the last week at least, various times Activision Blizzard has had to take the game offline to make adjustments to the server. As a matter of fact, I'm recording this at about 3:40 p.m. Mountain Standard Time today on Thursday. Just before I jumped in, I decided that I would do an update to the game because it was available. I updated the game, and now I can't actually seem to get into play at all now. It says that I've connected to a game, found a game, and then nothing happens, and it says you have an error. So I'm hoping they're going to push out another patch. So to say that it's been rocky, yeah, it's been a little bit rocky. But let's put that aside in regards to how the actual game is. Well, let me start with this. Have you played Overwatch 1 before?
No.
Because if you have, you've kind of played Overwatch 2. There is a lot of similarities. Now, I would be remiss if I did not mention that there have been some significant changes to Overwatch 2. One of the very first things that you'll notice is, as opposed to a 6v6 matches, it's now moved 5v5, removing one of the tank options. Now, you might think, okay, well, this is so what? Well, actually, 5v5 versus 6 versus 6 actually dynamically changes the game. There's a lot more attention put on the tank role, a lot more requirements for the healing role, and your DPSs still need to be quite critical. It also means there's a little bit more movement around on the board. So overall, I'm really happy with that. But let's dive into a couple of more of the things that have changed in regards to Overwatch as well. So I'm actually, if you're watching along, I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to jump into the hero section. So here we go. We have tanks, damage, and support. In all three categories, tank, damage, and support, there are new characters added.
Quick pause. Ninfrendo says it must have been an oversight on their part. And I said, or an underwatch?
First one in in tank is Junker Queen. Over in damage, they have added Sojourn. And by the way, Sojourn is Canadian. So what up, A? Good representation of Canada. And then over on the support side, we have Kiriko, who has been added as well. So this is great. More characters, new characters. Fantastic. But you can actually see, if you're scrolling through, if you're watching me, that certain heroes are actually locked or currently disabled. The reason being is that they've understood, as they have transitioned over to Overwatch 2, some of these characters are way overpowered and is actually requiring some work. Bastion has actually been taken right off of the complete roster and having to be reworked. That's kind of a bit crazy, actually. Bastion, for those of you who don't remember, he is a robot who is a turret, essentially, and it's pretty cool. I like him. I like playing with him a lot. But you'll see some of your familiar characters before, from Diva, Winston, Tracer, Soldier 76, Bridget, Mercer, kind of all your returning characters. Now, one of the really cool parts about it is not only are they returning, but they've also actually had a change of character design as well. When you go in to actually look at the skins, you can see the original Overwatch 1 skin or the Overwatch 2 skin. So if they're having updates to the skins, you get that accessibility as well added, which is fantastic. Also, if you merged your accounts, you have all of your outfits and charms and that kind of content brought over from the last season as well. Or sorry, from last season, from Overwatch 1 as well. Listen, I'll put it very simply. If you're like, wow, Overwatch 2, this is fantastic, I would highly recommend jumping into it. But if you're also like, here, I'll be really straight to the point. The graphics, the gameplay looks really, really good. It looks just like Overwatch 1. Actually, I believe it, in my opinion, actually looks a little bit better. But I don't have any digital foundry side by side, blah, blah, blah. So through some research, I have discovered that basically everyone says it's running at 30 FPS, but nothing seems bad. The jaggies never seem bad. The draws to distance doesn't seem too horrible. So I think that Activision Blizzard has done a fantastic job in actually bringing Overwatch 2 to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I'll say the following. If you have another console more powerful, then yes, you're probably going to see a better graphics. There's no doubt about that. But also, you can't really just sit on your couch with your PlayStation 5 and play it in your lap while your wife decides to watch some weird murder show on Netflix. Not that that happens every single week.
That was awfully specific.
So, yes, you can play it other places. But as it relates to Nintendo, which is why you're here on the Nintendo Dads show, it handles really, really well and is absolutely fantastic. And I have loved playing it in handheld, and I have loved playing it on my screen as well. Now, let's talk about the next big thing that happened to Overwatch. It's free to play. Overwatch 2 is free to play. You don't need to purchase Overwatch. It's free to play. So you can go and do that right now if you wanted. Now I will say if you're brand new to the Overwatch, you never played Overwatch 1 and you're now moving into Overwatch 2, there are some kind of hoops you need to jump through, like putting in a ton of hours to unlock the characters. This is really allowing Activision Blizzard to help you come on board and into the environment, into their game in a little bit of a way so it doesn't ruin your experience and doesn't become horrible and you just want to leave. Ideally, more players makes more games fun, makes more accessibility of content. Pretty simple, right? Now, I will say that with one other thing. What they have institutionalized is a battle pass. And ladies and gentlemen, mwah, you know I love me some Battle Pass, right? I am the Battle Pass connoisseur. So let's talk a little bit about Battle Pass, and let me tell you my thoughts
I thought he was the Stadia
Overwatch 2 has done for their Battle Pass. So I'm going to jump right into it.
He's got to move on now.
So off of the top, you have Play, Heroes, Shop. Now this is where you can actually shop as you can go in and buy stuff. Pretty self-explanatory. But let's jump into the Battle Pass. One of the first things that you'll see off the Battle Pass is the Battle Pass is only 80 levels. You might be like, okay, and the traditional Battle Pass that you'd see from something like Apex Legends or Fortnite is actually 100 levels as opposed to 80. Now, this may be like, okay, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal here is that you actually also have to recognize that Overwatch's seasons are shorter than traditional other free-to-play games that use battle passes. So for example, Apex Legends or Fortnite uses about a 3-month, sometimes 3.5 month window for their season to complete all 100 levels, or once that time's done, they start the new season. In this scenario, Overwatch 2 is using approximately 8 to 9 weeks. So it actually means that you have to really be functionally in a lot more often to ensure that you're really grinding and getting the value. I think this is actually a miss on Overwatch. It's 9 weeks is a little bit tight to be able to complete everything you want, especially when you're battling potentially with other free-to-play games with battle passes. Now, this is a catch. The reason they say this is, well, how about we put this hill up there so you have to really climb this hill so you don't have time for other games. Overwatch wants you in their ecosystem. So from a player's perspective, this isn't great. From a business perspective, this is a fantastic idea because to get your value, you have to jump in and you have to play right off the hop as much as possible. So let's break down the Battle Pass a little bit more. So this is the Battle Pass that I have right in front of me. What you'll see here is pretty standard. Actually, right now, this is one of the things I do like that Overwatch ended up doing is that right off the hop, once you unlock your battle pass, you come into tier 1 rewards, which included 4 items. In this case, it was a Kiriko's legendary skin, a charm bracelet, a legendary skin for, Kiriko, a legendary skin for Diva, a charm bracelet, and 20% all XP all season as well. So this is great. Apex does this as well. Their first level is
money
a lot
to
of
get
the
an XP
skins
bonus to level
that
faster.
you end up really getting value for, right? People like the new skins and new looks, where Fortnite uses this throughout. They, instead of having skins, it's actually new character models. Now remember, you're not getting new character models here, you're getting skins for these characters. So skins up front are great. As you scroll through, you see some pretty standard stuff. This is a logo that you'd have in my case right now. It says my name, and I'm using the Overwatch icon. So this is kind of changing out icons. We have banners, we have audio files, we have emotes, and this kind of stuff. We see sprays and stickers, kind of very common stuff. And then around certain levels like 10, you get different skins. In this case, Winston, and you can kind of scroll through and see. Again, here is a banner, right? And you can follow along, and there's a charm. You can follow along and see what level that you need to get these areas. So this is pretty common for most battle passes. Again, I think this is actually pretty good. And I actually like the flow of it. Looks very easy to see here, understandable about what's going on. And the really nice part about this as well is you can notice it actually shows kind of the progress down at the bottom of the area. So in this case, on Winston's skin, you can see just below the 10, it looks like I'm about 80% done. Means I haven't fully accomplished it yet. And it also says on the right-hand side, the experience required. So in this case, it requires 10,000 XP. I have 8,219. And you can also take a bit of a look if you want to peek into it and actually see the model as well. So they do a great job kind of making this a very easily accessible platform for you to kind of jump in and take a look at it. A couple of the other things we'll jump into here as well is challenges. So they do challenges in a couple of ways. They do daily, weekly, season, competitive, lifetime, and hero. So in your daily challenges, there's kind of what you would expect. You would jump in and say, there are daily things that I need to complete, and I have a certain amount of time to complete them. In this case, I have 10 hours to complete my daily challenges. Now, in this case, if I take a look at them, they were some as simple as emote hello to a teammate, earn 10 assists or eliminations without dying, complete 3 games queued for all roles. Now this goes into the game selections area that you can choose. So where do you want to queue and how do you want to be incentivized? First win of the day. So I completed all those. When I complete all those, you can see I get 3,000 XP for each and every single one of them. So about 10,000 XP per day I can approximately earn just on that alone, which means I can essentially get a level every single day. The next one that you move over to, and this is actually where I kind of have a little bit of a I don't like that about this battle pass. Most battle passes, again, I'm going to go to Apex Legends and Fortnite. With 100 days, there are specific points within that battle pass because battle passes have to incentivize you to keep moving forward. Typically in those battle passes, you'll have V-Bucks or whatever Apex's equivalent is. I can't remember what it is. And those V-Bucks allow you to purchase things in the store or allow you to actually use them to purchase the next season. Unfortunately, what I'm seeing from, and so basically they have enough in that season that if you earn all the V-Bucks, that season actually pays for the next season. It's kind of a great incentive, actually. So typically you actually might not need to pay anything for your next season. You can just kind of keep recycling the V-Bucks and going. The Overwatch 2 Battle Pass doesn't seem to have that at all. What they do have instead are weekly challenges. So if we see here in this, complete 4 weekly challenges, and if I complete 4 of them, I get 30 coins. If I complete 8 of them, I get 20 additional coins, and if I complete 11 of them, I get 10 coins, equaling 600 coins. Okay, cool. Gotcha. That sort of makes sense. I get that. That's how I can get coins.
Or
fantastic.
60 coins.
Well, if the week only runs 8 to 9 weeks, you're only potentially using a weekly model, gaining somewhere between 480 to 500. And
oh, he meant 600 over the course of 10 weeks. Is that what he meant?
I have no idea because I'm not following any of this.
Okay.
Because I can't see the video.
Oh, that's right. You can't see it.
and 60 coins every single season. The battle pass costs 1,000, whatever the currency here is for a battle pass. So you're going to be short every single time. I don't love that. I like the fact that you can basically earn currency to continue to get into your battle pass. This is sort of a way that what you're seeing from the micro. This, in my opinion, is where Activision is really leaning into the microtransaction part of Overwatch. This is hey, you've got 500 coins. You need 1,000 to do the next season to get to use a battle pass. So jump into the battle pass. Now, of course, you can play free to play and not use a battle pass, and I think, or not play using the battle pass, but I think you can just kind of unlock every couple of free ones potentially. To be honest, I don't know actually, because I just redeemed a battle pass, so I don't actually know. I'll have to check that next time. So this is a little bit of the microtransaction-y part that I'm not really super impressed with. Now, as you can see on the weeklies, there are ways to earn this. So here, playing to win, right? Playing to win, progress 7 out of 10, and if I win 3 more games, I get 5,000 XP, which goes towards my battle pass, but also earns me some currency here as well. So these change every single week. You see, I have 4 days to complete these. These feel a little bit tough, to be honest, and I don't like the fact that they'll change out so quickly. When I look at this kind of list right here, if I'm being honest with myself and how I am as a player, I'll be able to complete maybe 4, maybe 5 of these, which means I'm not getting my full value of my 60 coins. I'll probably only be able to get 30, which again, if we use a model of 30 times 8 or 7, or sorry, 9 or 8, it's either 280 or, 270, basically 270, 240 coins I get. So I'm going to be short every single time. They do have season-long challenges as well. I always like these. These are great to look into. So you get points for these as well. So some wins in a Coliseum. They're basically a lot of them are certain locations. Some of them are using specials. Some of them are actually specific to actual characters. So in this case, earn 5 eliminations while buffed by Junker Queen's commanding shout. Never saw coming. Damage a hero with a return flight of your knife as Junker Queen. So there are some very specific ones as well. So you can see some progress. And actually, to be honest, for these, I actually finished 6 of these without even really kind of being deliberate about it. I was just like, oh, I completed that. Great. And I got XP for it, which is fantastic. There is a competitive side to it as well. I don't play in the competitive ranked zone because I am not a good competitive ranked Overwatch player. I like playing Overwatch for fun and enjoy it. But this is I may jump in there for a couple, but listen, if I'm on your team in competitive, you're probably going to lose. All right? I'm just going to be real honest with you. But I also recognize that we have to recognize that there are various levels of players that come into Overwatch. We do understand that there are people who are brand new, casual players, there are seasoned players, and then there are competitive players. And then there's kind of the Overwatch League itself. Remember, Overwatch League is a esports competitive league that actually has teams and all this kind of stuff as well. And you can actually, brand your local team's colors on your characters here as well. They do a great job of that. But if you're competitive, that probably ain't for me. So a competitive player may have a very different opinion of all this as well. Then there are actual lifetime goals here as well that you can earn additional badges. Win Strike Commander Chase. Win 20 games as Sojourn, and you get a Canadian Maple Leaf. You bet your bottom dollar. Bet your bottom dollar, eh? That I am definitely going to be trying to get that as well. They also have hero challenges. Most challenges cannot be completed. There are no challenges yet available there. So overall, Overwatch 2 and the Battle Pass, I'm happy with. I'm happy with Overwatch 2, and I think you should jump into it. There are some parts of it that I'm not super pleased with. Blizzard and Activision have to kind of get their servers sorted out. They're getting better, and I would say after the Tuesday incident and people all jumping online and trying to create content, really this weekend or this last weekend is really when it began to open up. I can get into a game pretty easily now with no queue, which is fantastic. Again, presuming the server works, because right now we're having an issue. Now, what Overwatch or what the folks over at Activision Blizzard have done is that they have recognized that there are some challenges. So if you are an Overwatch player and you log in, I think between October 25th and December 4th, you get a free skin, a free charm, and they are going to host double XP weekends to allow individuals the ability to catch up and complete their battle pass as well. So I think that is fantastic. And then we're going back to the other component of it, which is the monetization. There is a shop. Now remember, loot boxes are gone now from Overwatch. That does not exist, but there are shops. And you can actually see, of course, you can buy bundles of, here's the blue steel bundle, right? For $1,000, you can get this skin, right? Or you can jump into
1,000 coins.
Wait,
bundle too.
I was
where
going to say,
get,
you say
some
$1,000.
skins,
What the heck?
Yeah.
right? And some coin charms as well.
$1,000.
Now I have 2,000 points here due to the fact that I bought the watch point pack, and so I got my battle pass, and I got 2,000 points. Those 2,000 points, I'm not going to spend them in the shop. I'm going to wait for them. I'm going to spend them on battle pass. That's how I'm going to end up doing it. And you can actually see here is the battle passes if you want to jump in. So premium 1, which is what I have at season. This is season 1, is 1,000 points, and they can show you exactly what you end up getting there. So you're very aware of.
I would totally buy a Zoolander.
So premium battle,
skin.
this is upgrading the premium battle pass. This is the normal battle. Yeah, there we go. So you can.
So he's showing normal battle pass costs 1,000 coins. There's a premium plus 20 bonus tiers for 2,200. So I think that starts you at level 20. What I think, so you don't have to, in order to get to 80, you don't have to play as hard.
Right. I was just liking what Nimfrendo said about Blue Steel, like Zoolander. I was like, I'd totally buy a Zoolander skin.
You can also pay premium, where you pay an additional a bit of coin and goes all the way to the 20 tiers. Not uncommon for people for that as an offering. I believe it was actually Apex when they came online. When you bought their on Nintendo Switch and you bought their season, when they came online with their battle pass, you jumped ahead, I think, to like level 40. So you got everything from 1 to 40 as well. Whether that's what's going to happen to Overwatch, not 100% sure as well. But this is the shop that you can go in there and spend money if you want to as well. This is, again, their currency or their monetization. The shop here is where you can also buy skins for leagues and which teams you represent and that kind of stuff. So that is sort of how Overwatch ends up working. So let me finish this off by saying, what are my thoughts, or what are my final thoughts on Overwatch? I really enjoy Overwatch. Originally enjoyed Overwatch, continue to enjoy Overwatch 2. I'm excited to jump into it. If I'm being very honest, Overwatch 2 has actually pulled me away from Apex Legends. I've always really, really enjoyed Overwatch. Now, I will say that with a caveat to the right. What has happened by Activision Blizzard, Bobby Kotick, all of that kind of garbage, trash, don't like that at all. That's horrible. But what I do know is there are a lot of hardworking individuals who have put time and energy into creating a game for people to play and enjoy. And I think they're excited for Overwatch to come to fruition. If you've never played Overwatch, I think now might be the time for you to jump in. And I know that I am super excited to play Overwatch 2 during my Extra Life stream coming up as well. Folks, that has been my breakdown of Overwatch 2. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with me, disagree? Who is your favorite main? Who do you play as? All of that. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this breakdown of Overwatch. Take care. Bye-bye.
So that will be reposted on our YouTube channel. So if you do want to make a comment or have anything to say to Justin in regards to what he said here in the podcast, or you want to see what he was showing off, again, it'll be reposted on YouTube for you guys to watch after we're done with the show. Actually, probably more than likely, I have to do the thumbnail for it. So, but did you have anything to add, Jesse? I know you don't play this game, and I haven't jumped into it either.
Yeah, I have. Other than the high level of how battle passes work, I understand that because I've been. I've watched my son play Fortnite for years and other games, and but when it got down to the details, I glazed over a bit.
I was going to say that was Justin's Overwatch minute, where we go to sleep because we don't play the game. Later on, everybody else.
I hate you all.
Exactly. So, all right. Thanks to Justin for doing that and giving us his information. We'll actually have Justin back on again with another clip when we talk about what we've been playing. But for now, we get to see Justin again because he's going to do our ad break.
Hey folks, supporting NintenDads is brought to you today by Gooder. Gooder believes you should look gooder. That's right, they have some amazing products that make you feel better every single day. Maybe they're like these amazing blue light blockers that I'm wearing today. I'm in front of screens all day, and let me tell you, my eyes are not sore by the end of it. Big thanks to Gooder because of these amazing blue blockers. Hey, I'm going to Extra Life. I'm going to be streaming for 25 hours. You want to guess what I'm going to have on my face? Shabam! Gooder glasses, because these are going to help my peepers feel fresh and ready. So when these other people, these other streamers, are kind of starting to fall asleep, their eyes are hurting. Oh, my eyes are hurting because I'm streaming for 25 hours for charity. Ow, ow, ow. I'm going to be like, boom, sucker, get some Gooder glasses and you'll be all right. And then when I take my Gooder glasses off and I walk outside in the fresh air, breathing it in, kind of like wiping my eyes, and bam, the sun's hitting me. Shabam! I'm going to throw on my Gooder sunglasses to block out the sun, right? Because these peepers need to be keeping in tip-top shape, ladies and gentlemen. So, of course, if you are like me and want to care for your peepers, make sure you go over to Gooder. All right. And make sure now here's the deal. A little bit of a change for Gooder. A little bit of a change. All right. Used to be the 15% off. They've had some challenges because of just some, let me just say this. People sometimes aren't good. All right. I'm just going to leave it at that. But here's what's going to happen going forward. All right. When you use our code, go over to gooder.com/Nintendo or NINDADS, gooder.com/NINDADS, and get free shipping on your entire order. Free shipping on your entire order. The code again is NINDADS, NINDADS, for free shipping on your entire order when you head over to Gooder. So typing in www.gooder.com/NINDADS, NINDADS, and shabam, you're getting free shipping on your entire order. Big thanks to Gooder for their continued support. Now, of course, I'd be remiss if we're talking about fantastic companies that have been supporting us and helping us keep the lights on and pay the bills and go to amazing events like Extra Life. I, of course, have to include Manscaped. Now, Manscaped, they're ready for you. They're ready for the pumpkin spice latte season. They're ready for the cool crispness in the air. They're ready for the leaves falling off the trees. Fall is my absolute favorite time of the year. And I think potentially it might also be Manscaped, because welcome to Fresh Ball Fall. It's the season of pumpkin spice and the making of your crotch look absolutely nice. And that means sipping cider in a fresh breeze. I do like my cider. And using Manscaped products to trim your balls with ease. That's right. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, a company here to make sure that your foliage, good word there, foliage, isn't the only thing shedding its excessive leaves. Heck, even Mother Nature knows when it's time to lose some excess clutter for fall. Join the over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going over to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping when you enter the code NINDADS, NINDADS. Now, of course, Manscaped has been helping Nintendo dads for well over a year. We're so appreciative of it. But before they showed up and said, hey, do you like our products? We already liked their products. We were already using them before they even came to us. And I would encourage you to check out manscaped.com. Use that code NINDADS, NINDADS. But by the way, some amazing products. They have got the 2-in-1 body wash. They've got the shampoo. They've got the deodorant. And again, if fall is in the air and winter's not too far, you need some chapstick. They've got some amazing chapstick as well. And it feels good. It smells good. It feels manly. Right. And they're just fantastic products. We have all been using Manscaped for well over the year that they've been supporting us. We've been using it before. We would highly recommend it. Big thanks to Gooder and Manscaped for their continued support of Nintendo dads, allowing us to make our dreams come true. Hey, folks, back to you.
Let's discuss. You know, something else we should discuss here is what you just brought up, saying that you have to get into MTG Arena to practice for our upcoming event when we're going to be in New York, which is we're actually going to participate in Magic the Gathering event there at Extra Life. So you got to refresh yourself on how to do this, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's been like 10 years since I last tried playing Magic the Gathering. Maybe not that long, but it's been a while. Definitely pre-pandemic, let's put it that much.
Well, while Justin was doing the ad read, I was looking around for a document I had from Magic the Gathering that tells you how to play a draft deck, which I think we're doing, right? We're doing draft play.
Yeah.
So, and I thought it was very interesting because it's basically you get a certain number of packs of cards,
think you get 6 boosters, then you're able to add as much lands as you want, and you want to build, I think it's like a 40 card deck.
Yep.
Normally, in tournament play, I think you play with a 60 card deck, but because it's draft, it's reduced.
So here, let me read this to you. Some notes that they provide that tells you how to draft a pre-release deck, essentially, or a draft deck. So if we're doing a 40 card deck, normally when you build a deck, you're doing 60 cards. But if we're doing the draft play, they're saying you do build 40 cards. So scale if need be, but this is based on a 40 card deck that you're going to build. It says basically most successful decks are 2 colors and have exactly 40 cards. So 15 to 18 creatures. So try to include creatures with the evasion abilities like flying, trample, and menace.
Yeah, I remember those.
5 to 8 other spells. Look for spells that destroy your opponent's creatures, make your own creatures stronger, or deal damage to creatures or players. Yep. Then try varying mana cost of your cards to form a curve. Do you remember the mana curve?
I remember the mana curve. That's normally what bit me, is I'd either be mana dry or mana flooded.
Right. So, and they say have at least 17 lands.
Yeah, and usually, you don't pull your lands from your packs. They'll just have a supply of lands so you can pick whatever you need out of it.
Yep. And the mana cost is they're saying have 0 to 2 cards with at least 1 mana, 6 to 8 cards that have at least 2 mana, and another 6 to 8 with 3 to 5 cards for 4, 2 to 4 cards with 5, and 1 to 3 cards with 6+ mana.
Yeah, so kind of bell curvy.
Yes. So good tips there for all you Magic the Gathering players out there directly from Wizards of the Coast, and for you, Jesse.
Yes.
So, all right. With topics, we have quite a few topics, but we're going to save some for the next time when Marty and Justin can join us. But one of the things I wanted to bring up was some questions for Jesse, because I posted out there saying, hey, it's just going to be me and Jesse. So if you got any questions, let's hear them. First question I got for you, Jesse. You ready? You ready for all these questions?
Ready.
All right. First one comes from our friend Bruce, and he says, when was the last time you had to blow into an NES cartridge?
Oh, I think the harder question is, when was the last time I actually tried to play one?
I should say maybe we'll expand it out. When was the last time you had to blow into any cartridge?
Yeah. Do you think? Yeah, it's probably been 15 to 20 years. And, of course, knowing not what I know now versus what I didn't know back then is, actually blowing into a cartridge over time is bad.
Yes.
The proper way to fix that type of problem with connectivity, if it's the cartridge, is, to give it the pins a good cleaning. Take it out of the casing, give it a scrub down with some isopropyl, with like a cotton swab, and let it dry and reassemble and put it back in.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't fix it, then the problem is probably the pin readers in your system, which is also a common fail point in older NESs. But you can pick up a replacement 72 pin reader relatively easily. You just have to know how to disassemble and reassemble an NES, which I've never tried that.
Right. Have you ever bought one of those cartridge cleaners?
I had. I remember having one as a kid. I think I might have used it once or twice, but they were just kind of a pain to use. Of course, easier than actually disassembling the cartridge and cleaning it properly. But for someone who didn't have the skills, and the parts to do that back then were harder to get a hold of.
Right.
Like those security screws that they used, you really couldn't. You had to actually be a repair shop to have
Get a hold of something like that. Yeah.
But now those tools are easy.
Right. All right. Next question. What have you learned about yourself through games?
I mentioned this a long time ago on the show, probably think before you joined, but in the past I used to have anger issues.
Okay.
And so, and that, even outside of games, that was a thing. So, through games, I kind of learned, where my tolerance is before I need to say, I need to stop this now before things escalate beyond
before
where
you
I
start
want
throwing
escalated.
monitors.
Yeah.
Or you get a little taste of just a tiny taste of it in a couple of the games you've had to play in the past and recorded.
Yeah. So yeah. I haven't. The few games I've rage quit, it's not throwing controllers through windows rage or
right.
I catch myself way before it gets to that point.
You're
But
just like, nope, turn it off.
If I start getting aggravated, I'll just nope out.
Yep. It's like, oh, nope, time to end the stream early. Bye. Time to turn it off. All right. And then Friendo is asking, how many controllers did you spike like a football?
I think I have done that when I was a kid, but I haven't done that in a long time.
All right. What game is your comfort food game? Like Marty likes to talk about his comfort food games, like Mega Man 2. What's yours? Do you have a comfort food game that you like to go to?
Picross, pretty much.
Picross?
Okay. That's my I need my brain to slow down and relax type of game, and it's pretty much for me, I normally don't have to think about it. It's just something I do. It's kind of it's like running through a computer program in my head of how running a routine to solve the puzzles. I know people who think the same way I think and do not like Picross for that reason, but that's the reason why I do like it.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. And I asked my wife actually, because she enjoys Picross too, and because you like it and you're a programmer. I thought, I asked her, I said, do you ever thought about coding? Thought about programming, developing?
Have her check out 7 billion humans? Or or whatever the prequel game was to that. That's probably an easier game to start on.
Okay.
For if you like puzzle games and think you might have an interest in programming, that's a really basic way to see if you like that sort of thing or not. Because I love those games.
Right.
I'm still waiting for the next game, Welcome to the Superhighway, to come out, and Welcome to the Information Superhighway, and they've been radio silent for like 4 years.
Been busy.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a trick question. Not trick question. Here's a tough question for you, Jesse. Which is your preferred franchise, Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest?
I'd say before Dragon Quest 6, or 6 and before. I mean, Final Fantasy 6, but earlier Final Fantasies I like better than earlier Dragon Quests.
Okay.
But then starting with
flips.
Then it flips.
Okay.
I haven't gotten far in 7, hated 8, haven't gotten far into 9, and then never finished 10. 11 was an MMO. I did finish 12, but then that was like a 100-hour game that summer, and never finished 13. 14 is an MMO. I rage quit on the tutorial for 15.
Right.
Yeah, they basically play like an MMO, a single player MMO. That's why I don't like Xenoblade games. It's the same type of control style. I don't like that. Yeah, but earlier Dragon Quest games I didn't like because they were really hard. They weren't balanced very well, and I didn't have the patience for them. But starting with like the DS remakes of 4, 5, and 6, those are rebalanced games, and pretty much every mainline Dragon Quest game except for 10, which was an MMO, I've played through at least once.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you mentioned that the first 6 at least are Final Fantasy games are your preferred. When it comes to that, when you're talking about early games, the Final Fantasy ones are your preferred between Final Fantasy and DQ. You mentioned before that I think it was Final Fantasy 4 that is your all-time favorite, right?
6.
Out of the 6? Or is it 6?
6 is my favorite. 4 is up there.
Okay. So I had it backwards. All right. So 6 is your favorite. So why did I think 4 was? Is it because of the music in 4 or something?
I don't know. The music, again, you asked about soundtracks before. I have the soundtrack to both of these games.
Okay.
One of them physically imported CDs from Japan, and the other one I got from iTunes.
Gotcha. So why is 6 one of your all-time favorite games? What makes that so special?
The one thing that makes it that jumps out at me is the Opera House scene, which is...
That's what it was, the Opera House. It is 6. Okay.
Yeah, which is about 8 hours in out of a 30 to 35 hour game. So
yeah,
about a quarter of the way through it. That was the, yeah. In fact, I won a contest, and I think I've mentioned it on the show before. Back, if you know, in Fendo Radio.
Yes.
That was a show I think Zach was a host on with other VG Tribune guys before I joined on to VG Tribune.
Okay.
So that was my introduction to that group. So they had a contest where, what's your favorite music video game music track and why? And I wrote this whole paper on why the Opera House scene is my favorite scene of all time. And nice. I ended up winning. The prize was a copy of Wii Music.
Fantastic.
So yeah, that not a great prize in hindsight, but still, it was a fun topic to talk about. Yeah, because that was I think 96, 94, 96 around then. I was a musician in high school and in college, so that was just around that time, and it was just fun.
Nice. So actually, Mecca asked, while we're on the topic of what you brought up there for VG Tribune, what was VG Tribune?
It was basically a news website run by, I think, Alexa Santos started it and then gave it to Will. I forget his last name. Sorry if you. But then he just got to the point where he couldn't continue maintaining the costs of it, so he ended up shutting it down. And we originally used VG Tribune as our RSS feed when the show started, and then had to move it around. Yeah. So
some of that history.
It wasn't any console focused. We covered everything, PC, Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, and then we had, Alexis started the podcast, and it pretty much shifted to me to host it. Roundtable. We did like 50 episodes over 3 years, so we were not consistent at all. So yeah, that was pretty much what. So think of like a poor version of Polygon.
Okay, gotcha. That's a good description. All right, and Ninfrendo asked, Jesse, did you ever build any games with Game Builder Garage?
I never did. I never got past what I did a live stream when I got the game. That's all I gave. I never went back to it after that live stream. I went through the first tutorial playing that game where you chase the other avatar, and then people started throwing game codes at me, and I started picking up and playing, and then that's it. I've never went back.
All right. And then Mecca also asks how you're able to play all these games. How do you have time to do this? How's your time management skills? He says, yes.
Backlogs is, because, I think I said this before, but I try to play one game and burn through it instead of bouncing games, because that way it's easier, because I can just put the system into sleep mode and then come back tomorrow and I just continue from where it left off, instead of having to find a save spot, shut it down, load the next game, play a little bit, find a save spot, shut it down. So, the 3DSs and DSs were nice, because literally close the lid.
Right.
Sleep mode. So I have Dragon Quest 9 running on this system that you can't see.
Yep. As he just
literally
opens it up, shows off, and closes it back up.
Literally in the middle of a fight, and closed against 2 goodie bags.
Awesome. So all these great questions. I got one more for you.
Alrighty.
Because Square Enix is listening, obviously, to our show every week.
Obviously.
Plead your case to Square Enix on why it should bring Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster to the Nintendo Switch.
Because RPG games are best played mobile. People don't have to dedicate themselves to a couch for 100 hours to play through. Like, that's why I'm looking forward to Persona 3, Persona 4 and Persona 5 coming out on the Switch. I still will likely play most of them in front of a TV, but I have the option to pick it up and play it somewhere else, where on the Xbox, I don't have that option. And people will say, oh, but they're also on mobile. And my answer is, touchscreen controls suck, and they don't support controllers. That is the bad way to play those games. So put it on the Switch. We got the portability, and you got the buttons.
Sold. That's right. I'm not even going to read Mecha Dragon's response, his response about a Stream Deck. I'm going to ignore that. So anyways.
What comment? I don't see anything. What's a Stream Deck?
I don't know. All right. Oh, I said the wrong thing anyways. It's a Steam Deck, not a Stream Deck.
Well,
he said Stream Deck.
He said Stream Deck. We're reading what he said.
That's true. We are. It's Steam Deck. Woo! All right. All right. We'll save the other. Let's discuss this when the other gentlemen are on as well, so we have a good round table of discussion. Let's move on to events. All right, we already mentioned about Splatfest, the new Splatfest at the top of the news hour. So we'll talk about that next week to remind you guys of the latest Splatfest coming up in November. Next up, we also want to remind you we have Dinner Table coming up on October 21st. That'll be next Friday. That's every third Friday of the month. We have our Dinner Table, and in order for you to join, you have to be a Patreon subscriber or a Twitch subscriber to join our Discord and be able to join in on the call that we do there. Again, on October 21st at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to join in, we're going to be talking about all kinds of things. A couple things that come to mind. I'm going to be asking people who join for feedback about how the Nintendo dads are doing. If there was anything we needed to change, let me know there. Or what would you like to see us do in the future? Just any kind of feedback. So come join us and give us feedback there. And we'll also be talking about all the normal things we talk about, such as TV shows, movies, and whatever else is going on in the news. I'm sure we'll be talking about the Mario movie trailer. And She-Hulk, probably.
The best fourth wall break I've ever seen.
Shush, I haven't seen it yet. So
that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
All right. So come join us and talk about all that and much, much more. And whatever else we talk about, because we talk about spontaneous stuff. Also, don't forget, Extra Life Game Day is November 5th. You can join our team. You can hang out with us. Or if you join our team, you can do game day your own day. It doesn't have to be November 5th. We have all the way to the end of the year to raise money for Extra Life. So if you want to join our team or to donate us, go to our webpage at nintendodads.org and click on our Extra Life link in the upper right corner of the page. Or you can search for Nintendo Dads, all one word, on Extra Life. You'll find Nintendo Dads 2022 is the team name. You can, again, join us or donate to anybody on the team. Or finally, thanks to our friend John over at Nintendo Dads, or not Nintendo Dads, excuse me, Dads After Dark show. He gave us a bit.ly link that you can use. So you can go to bit.ly/extra life dads, all one word again, and go there and it'll take you straight to our page. And those are our events. So let's move on to Jesse's PokéMinutes.
Pika, pika, Pikachu!
I hate you all.
Pokemon Go Halloween 2022 Part 1 brings Mega Banette and bucketfuls of candy bonuses. Mega Banette will be available from October 20th at 10 a.m. through October 27th at 10 a.m., and Altered Form Giratina will be available through November 1st at 10 a.m. There will be 2 paid timed research events with this event. For $1 USD, Ticket 1 grants access to timed research featuring encounters with Yamask and Galarian Yamask. For $5 USD, Ticket 2 grants access to timed research featuring increased candy bonuses, additional Halloween-themed tasks, and an avatar pose. Since these are timed research events, they must be completed before the end of the event on November 1st at 10 a.m. to receive all of the rewards. There will also be a special research event that'll be free to all trainers with no time limit to complete. Assist Professor Willow and Ree with learning more about Yamask and Galarian Yamask, with a chance for Galarian Yamask to be shiny for the first time. During both parts of the Halloween event, Pokestops and gyms will be decorated for the holiday. And finally, a remix of the Lavender Town music, which I was playing throughout this whole skit, will be played nightly during the event.
Awesome. And we also have a question during the PokéMinute for you is you didn't about, I guess, gym leader Pokemon, the new gym leader, VTuber gym leader for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Do you know anything about that?
I don't think she's a VTuber because that whole world is animated. That's just her. But yeah, it's Iono. She's annoying as hell. I hate her already. But
wow,
other people
tell us how you really feel, Jesse.
But other people love her for that same reason. It's basically a YouTuber, high energy and content creator. You know, as the electric gym leader. In fact, it was so like the Pokemon Company kind of trolled us. They announced another announcement will be announced tomorrow, and what the announcement video was basically an episode of her show.
Oh wow! Okay.
It was and she was annoying. I find her annoying and really grating.
Wow.
So
that's not going to be your favorite part of the game, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. It'll be interesting to see what they do with her. But so the whole spiel was you're supposed to guess what her Pokemon partner is. And she gave some clues. And obviously the answer is an unannounced Pokemon, because how the hell are we supposed to know that?
Right.
Which she'll announce in her next episode, which means we're going to get more of Iono, and whether we want it or not.
All right. And then Mecha Dragon has to go and do a low blow and say, it's after your time, Jesse. It's okay. Oh, geez. All right. That's it for PokéMinutes. Let's move on to what we've been playing. Jesse, let's go ahead and play the Justin video about what he's been playing.
Alrighty. Which button is it? This one?
Hey guys, what's going on? Justin Masson here with Nintendo Dad. Sorry I can't be here. I thought I would throw in a little bit of what I have been playing. Now, rightfully so, let me tell you this. I'll give you the short version of what I have been playing. Overwatch 2, I absolutely love it. I'm glad the servers are now fixed sort of ish online, but I'm enjoying every moment of Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 is actually taking over Apex as my games online that I'm playing. It's Fortnite. Sorry, Apex, you're moving down to number 3. Overwatch 2 is sliding into that number 2 spot, and I am absolutely loving my time with Overwatch 2. As you probably heard earlier, I have some issues with the Battle Pass. I don't think they've done it completely right, but overall, I'm enjoying my experience, which is exactly what I want. What else have I been playing? I've been playing Tunic. Here's my summary. I love Tunic. Tunic is fantastic. Tunic is most likely going to be my game of the year. I don't know that for sure, but I'm telling you where it sits right now. Oh, Tunic is probably going to be right up in that list. I'm absolutely loving it. Having such a great time. As a matter of fact, I was on a flight recently returning back to Calgary, and I had opened up Tunic. I'm in the airport, playing while I'm waiting for the flight, got on the flight, started playing Tunic. I was playing Tunic for so long that I literally, there was a night flight, all the other lights were turned off in the cabin, right? Except for the glow of my screen as I'm playing Tunic at 12 o'clock at night, and my eyes are burning. And I'm like, okay, I need to go to sleep, but I don't want to because I'm having such a good time. I love Tunic.
You needed the glasses.
Love playing Tunic.
Right.
Next one is Trifox. Trifox is brand new, just came out to the Nintendo Switch this week. We have a first look up on our YouTube channel as well. You can check that out. Trifox reminds me very similarly of Crash Bandicoot, actually. There are some great level designs in there, like early Crash Bandicoot, like probably Crash 1 or 2 in the PlayStation era. They've definitely kind of going for a little bit of an actual pixelated look sort of associated with that as well. Puzzles are great. The controls are a little bit off, and I know there's a patch coming out soon. Hopefully that controls as well. I feel like the loft is a little bit jumpy or a little bit lofty. The jump is a bit lofty, and the controls are a bit not quite as precise as I want.
Is the loft
and
also
the vision
jumpy?
of the camera is sometimes a little bit challenging to understand, but I like the puzzles, and it's a lot of fun as well. What else have I been playing? Splatoon 3, when I jump in there. Yeah, Splatoon, I jump in for like 2 matches. Liking it. It's great. But I'm going to be honest, Overwatch 2 has kind of really taken my space for it. Hey, so ladies and gentlemen, that is what I have been playing. Thanks for watching to NintenDads. Back to whoever's going next.
Go ahead, Jesse. You go ahead and talk about what you've been playing.
Okay, so I'll talk about the obvious ones first. I didn't talk about Picross S8 last week because I didn't get a lot of time in it. I got more time into it this week. I think I'm about 2/3 through. I just have like the back 3 or 4 pages of the Picross and Mega Picross to go, and then so those take longer because they're still 15 by 15 and they'll get to 20 by 15, and then of the super big puzzles, I did 2 out of the 5 so far. So I did the 2 30 by 30s, and I have the 40 by 30s to go. Those will take me probably close to an hour each. So I still have a lot of time left before these are done. But I'm liking it. Again, it's my I have a 10-minute break from work, but before my next call, let me do a puzzle or 2 to wind down. I'm continuing Dragon Quest IX. Last week I said I am getting close to the end of the IGN walkthrough. I am now past their walkthrough. I don't know why they didn't walk through the entire game, but they just stopped. So I found a different walkthrough.
Well, their walkthroughs are done sometimes not by who they pay. It's done by the community, and maybe you just need to help them finish it.
I don't know, but their last update was 2012, so 10 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And even then, it was a 3-year-old game. So,
All right.
Yeah. So I do remember back in the day, I would contribute to one of the wikis.
Yes.
Like on fandom.com or whatever those were. So
You could do this. You can do it again.
Yeah, because back then when I was actually getting the quests and solving them, and they weren't in their database yet, so I would submit the articles. It was actually kind of interesting. It was like, this was pre-VG Tribune, so it was like the first taste of video game writing that I had. Anyway, so I got to the point where this boss is hard, and looking for tips, and the solution seems to be grind more levels until your healer has multi-heal, to heal more than one party member at a time, and or change jobs, which still requires me to grind levels up because all my other jobs are at level 1. So I'm like, okay, so I'm either, probably close to done with that. It might be my airplane game just because there's nothing else to do, depending on what else is going on. But yeah, I got some grinding I need to do before I can advance. But based on the second walkthrough I found, it looks like I'm like 85% done with the game. There's only like 2 or 3 major story beats after this one's done before I'm in post game. Of course, post game is where most of the most of the content is. It's just finish the that finishes up the main story.
Okay.
Yesterday, Pilotwings 64 was added. I tried to play it.
Pilotwings 64 is a thing.
Yeah. He says that because I put a question mark in in my notes, not because I didn't know it was a thing. It's because did I really play it? Because
right.
I did the hang glider one first. I actually made a small video, put it on Twitter, where I crashed, rolled, and stopped. But I ended up in the bullseye. So I'm like, I'll accept this as a victory, even though the game didn't. I have no idea how to stop. And then I tried the jetpack once. Hard burn. So I'm like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I shut it down and went back to Picross. Okay. This is the game I'm not too happy with. I put up a video Monday morning on this game when the embargo was opened up for Atari Mania. This is Atari's big celebration of their 50th anniversary. So it's it was touted as a game that to celebrate their history. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't really dig much into this game. So game opens up kind of in an action adventure type of thing where you're this, you look like an old Atari 2600 sprite running around a really blocky world. I think it is a museum, and you're seeing things about various older games, and then something happens. Like it creates a vortex in the hole in the floor, and I get sucked in along with 3 games. I think it's Millipede. I don't even remember them anymore because I recorded this 2 weeks ago. But basically, what the game turns into is a WarioWare-like micro game mix of like NES Remix, where they took games and shuffled them around.
Yeah.
That's what they did with old Atari games.
Oh, interesting.
And you're told you have 10 mini games to play. You've got 5 lives. If you pass the whatever challenge they want you to do, it says, okay, good, go on to the next one. If you fail, it gives you a tick, but you still advance to the next one. So I'm thinking, okay, so if I can get to, say, the 7th one with all my lives left, I should be able to get to the end and finish it and continue on with the game. No, the game doesn't let me do that. If I don't beat the 10th one, I go back to the 9th one and have to do it again before going back to the 10th one.
Okay.
So you have to beat that last one.
Mm.
And the controls are not consistent. Like early on, you move slow and it's easier to control. But then, similar to WarioWare, they've got these speed up sections where the gameplay up is faster.
Okay.
But this happens multiple times throughout the 10 mini games. But every time it does it, then your speed also increases. So the same little tap of the joystick moves you significantly farther. And it's by the time you get to the 10th level, I can't control myself where I want to go. there's many little death traps from, you have to go from left side of the screen to the right and then back to the left again with all these traps in the middle. And I must have done it 20 times and never cleared it. And
That's a bummer.
so I said, okay, I'm done.
That was it.
I saw they patched
Rage
the game.
quit.
I saw that they patched the game last week. I'm like, oh, did they tune this? No, same problem. Then another patch came out today. I don't know what they did. I've already given up on it.
It sounds promising, just, because
I like the premise. It's just executed poorly. Is that on YouTube? Yeah, it's on YouTube. That came out Monday morning. And so, yeah, my recommendation was don't play this game unless you like this type of thing, because I don't.
Okay. Yeah, and watch out for those updates that they have. Make sure that they fixed all their problems.
Yeah. Okay. Then the last game I want to talk about, I played on Xbox because it's on Game Pass, but it is on the Switch. It's Tinykin.
Yeah, I've heard about this Pikmin-like game.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't remember if it was $15 or $25. I looked it up and forgot, but there is a demo. It is very Pikmin-like. It's actually Pikmin light. It's very simple. The concept of it is it's very simple.
Okay.
I think Justin talked about this a few weeks ago, but yeah, I think you have up to 5 different colors of the Tinykin. You don't choose which color to throw. It kind of context based on what you're throwing it at will just automatically throw the right one that you need. So that's fine. So each color has a specific use. Only one of them will actually pick up items and move them around. Unlike Pikmin, where they all can do that. Some can do it better than others. But this one, only the pink ones can lift stuff up, which is really frustrating when I've got, 15 pinks, 40 reds, 30 blues, and this thing needs 20 to move, but the reds and the blues aren't going to help me. I need more pinks.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, it's fun. The levels are really dense. They're small, relatively speaking, but they're packed with things to do and find.
Okay.
At first, it looks like overwhelming, but once you understand how they design levels out, there's usually a path that is formed by the objects, by the plants. So you are someone from off-world who lands on a planet, which happens to be Earth, but again, you are this small because your interaction with the world is with ants and beetles and other bugs. You talk to them. And you're in a human house with, you start out, one of the rooms is a bathroom, one of the rooms is a kitchen. I'm just starting the kitchen level right now. And I don't remember the guy's name, but apparently the bugs worships the human as a deity, even though they've never seen him. I don't know if he's still around, or I don't know how long this has been going on.
Right.
I don't know if that's something that'll be revealed later on. But ultimately, there's 6. In order to rebuild a ship for you to leave the house and hopefully get back, to where you came from, you need 6 items. Each item comes from a different room of the house. And I have 4 out of the 6 right now. It says I've been playing it for under 6 hours. It seems like longer than that. So I don't know how accurate the timer is.
It's interesting, but it's like Pikmin, but it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I Shrunk the Kid. So
yeah. And then your traversal from room to room, like you have a hub area, and then when you actually enter in the zone that you want to be in, you go through the air ducts. So it gives this illusion that you are in one large house,
Right.
going through very small.
I'm so tempted to try this one out, but again, I'm trying to do the Jesse way of playing games, trying to finish the game I've got going first before I pick up another one. Trying, but it's kind of failing. But anyways.
It's one of those games. If you like Pikmin, give this one a try. If you have an Xbox, and you have Game Pass, you're already paid for it.
Right.
And
that's why I was maybe thinking about trying it out on Game Pass.
I'm looking it up on the Switch, how much it costs. It's $25 on the Switch, and there is a demo. You can give that a try.
Cool. Yeah, maybe I'll try that. I don't know. It sounds interesting. Sounds really cool, especially being in a house and doing that kind of stuff. I've always liked those type of things, where even like racing games, like where you're in a like tiny racing or even Hot Wheels. Like Hot Wheels, you're in a house, So
yeah. Oh, one thing I found is they kind of flipped the script a bit over Pikmin, where in Pikmin you can go in water. The blue Pikmin can go in water, but none of the others can. Okay. Here, all of the Tinykin basically float around, so water doesn't bother them. Water bothers you. You cannot go into water.
Okay.
If there's any standing water on the ground.
Okay.
If it's like a thin layer, you have a few seconds to try to get out of the water. In fact, you get an achievement for going into the water and then going out without dying. But eventually, if you're in the water long enough, you will explode.
Wow.
But if you're in an area that's deep water, say like a filled sink or a bathtub, it's instant death if you hit it.
Alrighty then.
But you respawn immediately where you were, so you lose no coverage. So it's like it's there's no penalty for dying.
Cool.
And long falls will kill you. You can still survive a long distance fall, but in like a 6-foot fall, you're not going to survive that. You'll splat and just respawn back where you started.
Splat. Sounds like a good game for all ages. Is that correct assumption?
I think some of the topics might be confusing for some kids. It does get into a lot of some political and religious themes.
Alrighty then.
But nothing horrible. Nothing. Okay. It may be question provoking if you're if the kids are paying attention to
if they even care about what they're saying.
Yeah. Like, right. Why are they saying this about this guy they've never met?
All right. Cool. Is that it, Jesse? Is that all the games you've been playing?
That's my list.
All right. Cool. I will be, we'll see. I won't say I'll be quick because I end up talking about games I've been playing. So these are games that I've all been playing that you guys heard me talk about, but I got new observations about these games. And then one new game. One new game is NHL 23. That is a new game that dropped today, and it's freaking awesome. So I have not played an EA Sports NHL game in a long time, other than when I bought Rewind with I forget what version it came with, but I didn't play the whichever NHL 19 or 21 or whatever version that was that had the NHL 94 Rewind. I just kept playing NHL 94 Rewind. But playing NHL 23 was pretty sweet because not only can you're playing hockey and build, you can play full-blown franchise mode and all of this normal EA Sports stuff that you get with an NHL hockey game, but something that I'm not familiar with because I don't buy these games every year. Just like Madden 23 blew me away, and some people are complaining that it's not any different from 2022. For me, it's all different because the last Madden game I bought was Madden 13. So it's like 10 years later, everything is pretty freaking sweet. So it's the same thing with NHL 23. But what I really liked about it was that you can play, you can do the full-blown franchise mode, you can do the full-blown, simulation side of things, or I can do 5-on-5 where, I don't have to worry about any switching of players and all that kind of stuff. I can just do, almost regular hockey, but it's just 5-on-5, just straightforward and quick 2-minute, 3-minute matches. And, the controls were very simple for me to pick up and grasp because I was able to easily pass the puck if I needed to, concentrate on that or hitting people, which was my favorite thing to do, is check them into the boards or whatever. I didn't have to worry about the goalie. The goalie was playing according to the rated way they were supposed to play. So it was a lot of fun. Another way I was able to play was I was able to create a player, and I forget which mode this is called because I didn't play it for very long, but it's a mode where I can create a player and play as part and focus on one player as me in that position in a 3-on-3 environment on like a pond or something. It's not even, or it could have been a regular rink, but anyways, it was like just 3-on-3 hockey. And I was concentrating on me as a player. I couldn't switch to another player. I was picking how my player would play after I created it too. And the way you go through a long process of creating your player, whether it be you or whatever. I created it as if I was playing and how I would like to play. And that was I have to look at what I took a snapshot of it real quick, but it was a defensive man, a certain type of defensive man. Because then that way I could concentrate on, passing the puck and playing defense and checking people into the boards. Because that's my favorite.
The most important part of the game.
Right. So I was just having a blast with it. So that's the goal for me when I play games is, am I having fun with it? Now, have I played other players yet? No, but you can play online, and I'm afraid to because I'm not that good at it. I just picked it up. So, and I'm sure there's highly competitive people out there to play. But who knows if I keep at it, I don't know. But right now I'll probably play as much as I play Madden. Every now and then I pick up a Madden game, just play a quick game. And that's fun for me. I'm rolling with it. And I just like all the options that I saw in NHL 23. So if you like the sound of those things, I highly recommend it. I was playing it on my PlayStation, but you can get it probably everywhere except for the Switch, unfortunately. But it was a lot of fun. I've been continuing to play Foretales. That's again that game of a card-based narrative journey, essentially. And what I'd like to say about that game that I've learned while playing more of it, it is a better way of explaining it, I think, because I've been having a hard time trying to explain this game other than it being card-based battle story narrative type game where not only do you use the cards to battle other creatures, but you use the cards as items. You use the cards to tell the story. But what I would like to say is not only do you do those things, the story is the main part. And that's why that's why the game says it's a narrative journey. And the best way I could put it is that it's if you've ever liked those choose your own adventure books, this is how this game is laid out essentially. Because as the part I kept getting confused about is the story. Like, where is everything going? What's happening in the games? And this might be what was frustrating you, Jesse, is it's like you couldn't tell what was going, where were you going with this? So besides the mechanics, besides just trying to play the game, but like I said, using your cards, it's not just using cards to battle other cards. It's using, like I said, the cards as items, using the cards for characters to help you move through the path that you have to go in the story and progress through the story. But also when you get through each region of the story, there's an overworld where you have to pick where you're going to go in the story because of your visions, your character's visions of trying to prevent the end of this world that you're in. So depending on the actions you choose throughout that overworld, whatever next part of the story you want to take and whatever choices you make in that story will help dictate the next path. The part that I don't know yet, and I'm still finding out because I'm getting closer to the end, is if it's something like the game. Which one is it? The World Ends With You, or where you go through one path, and spoiler alert, if you want to play that game, I don't want to ruin it for you, so maybe fast forward a couple minutes here, but World Ends With You, you get through one path and then it stops and makes you go back and pick the routes you didn't go. Right? Am I picking the right game? Is it not World's End Club? World's End Club. That's what it was. Not World's End With You. That was a different game. World End Club was where you went through one path. You ended up in a spot where you probably would be better off going another route in your story path, and you go that other route in the story path. I'm wondering if this game is going to do that, because there's just so many just variables going on here. It's like,
I didn't mention it last week. Beacon Pines does a little bit of that as well. I think Marty did mention it.
Okay,
but I didn't. I skipped over that. But yeah, there's a lot of back and forth going on between two different story paths.
Yeah, I see. I don't know if I do that yet, but the way that I've been noticing is that these choices are making me go one path, but something else. I don't know if it was something I read somewhere, because I was just trying to get a grasp of what was going on here. I've been enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I've been enjoying the story. The story has been leading me to keep going in this game. It's just that I wasn't sure what was happening with the overarching story here. Like I get to choose my own path, but do I get to go back and play a path I didn't go? And according to what I've read, I guess, I think that's where I got it from, is that yes, I'll be able to go back. But is it something just a replay type thing? After I beat it, I can go back and do it again? Or is it part of the story? Like I mentioned, like World's End Club is, where you go to get to the end, you get to a certain point, and then you get the choice of going back and going a different path. So that's the stuff that I like in these type of games that we've been playing lately, Jesse, is just these oddball different things that you don't normally see in a game. So, and that's what
and where they turn game mechanics like that into part of the story.
Yes. And that's what I'm hoping to see, but we'll see. Foretales is keeping me going, and that's what I've been mainly playing until I got to this next game, which is Lego Bricktales. Again, Foretales I have a video of, and I'm probably gonna, if I keep going where I'm going, I'll probably do a review of that. If I beat Foretales, I'll do a review video. Lego Bricktales, I also have a video out, but I called it part 1. I had to go back and put a part 1 tag on it because I learned so much more when playing more of Bricktales that I'm going to do a part 2 of a first look of this, because part 1, I finished the tutorial and then did the first look of the first few
second look.
Yeah. in the part 1, I talk about the tutorial, and then I talk about what I've learned up to that point of the game and what I'm doing in the first jungle board world in that game. After I did the video and through the rest of the week, I've been playing more Bricktales, more of that jungle level. And what I found out there's more to this game than what I indicated in my first look of the game. And that's why we do first looks anyways. You kind of give a taste of it, hopefully give you guys an idea of what, maybe if you're interested of beyond what's being shown in videos or whatever, or what you might be interested in, or what you want to know about this game in order to pick it up. So that's why I want to do a part 2. Lego Bricktales is, there's a lot more to it. Not only is it just going in and playing with Legos essentially, and you have to, it's like a puzzle builder. And I mentioned this in the video. It's kind of like those bridge construction games in a way, where you have to go in and kind of, think of a way to construct the bridge in order to get your people or vehicles or whatever across. Mm-hmm. Bricktales has elements like that, where you have to build something to solve this puzzle to get your character to the next point in this story. You're basically helping your grandfather rebuild his amusement park, which is also built of Legos. Everything's built of Legos. This is all built Lego bricks, right? So you're helping him rebuild his amusement park. Why are you helping him rebuild his amusement park? Because he was inventing a portal to get you to other places in time and space or whatever. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. Again, another thing where it's like all these stories going on. There's puzzle elements to it where you have to build. You get a certain a certain set of bricks, and your objective is to use those bricks to complete this puzzle to move to the next part of the story. For example, I think one of the things I was showing in the video was I had to build a support to the platform that this person was trapped on in the jungle because a plane crash landed there. 3 people were on it and they had safely got out of their plane with parachutes and landed in precarious places in this jungle. So one of the places was on a platform in a tree, and I had to build support system to hold that platform to hold 2 people so I could go rescue that person. So they give you a certain set of Legos to do that. And then once you do that, you get to that person, it continues the story, but then you unlock that particular puzzle in a sandbox mode to where you can then add more elements to it. So for example, there was another part of the jungle scene where I had to build a bridge to get to the next person that I had to save. So I built the bridge, and then it opens it up in the sandbox, and it says in this as a task in the sandbox, what I could do is it opens it up to where I have all available pieces in the game that I've unlocked so far. And I can add more to that bridge. I could, add a canopy to it or add torches to it or whatever, whatever pieces, Lego pieces I get, I can pretty up the game, kind of be creative. So what I found interesting is before you get to the sandbox part, yes, they give you, certain bricks to build the bridge, but you don't use all of them, or build a staircase, or build a support, or build a helicopter to fly up from one point in the jungle to the high point in the jungle. But you're given certain bricks that you build it the way you want to build it. And then you can test it out by having your little robot companion that's there to help you test it out and make sure, is it balanced? Does it fly? Will it crash? Before you actually use it in the game, which is really cool because you can build it any way you want, like the helicopter. I could build,
I don't know if I'd like games like that.
It's almost,
I'm not that creative.
I don't think I am either, but it's like using engineering and physics and kind of those things to where, yeah, I may not be creative enough to make that helicopter look pretty sweet, but I made it functional. I made it work, and I made it move from one point to the other point without crashing. So, which is really cool.
Space Program, really simple version of it.
Right. So for me, I like the puzzle elements. The sandbox parts, maybe not so much, because like you said, for me, I'm not that creative. Maybe later on I might play around and try to be the Lego master brick builder, but not right now. I'm just I want to get through the story. I'm having fun with the puzzles, trying to solve them the best way I can with putting these bricks together to, build a bridge or build this or that. I think it's really cool. So, and what I found that I wanted to share more of was that it's not just those elements either that I didn't show in the first video, the part 1. And the reason why I want to do a part 2 is because playing this, there's actually things you can do with the diorama you're in. So like each Lego thing is built as a diorama. So I'm in the jungle diorama. So while in there, it's almost like a Captain Toad game where you can, you can walk around. It's what is that? The isometric view of that place. And certain times, not all the time, but certain times you can move it around and look around that diorama, but not it's not as flexible as say Captain Toad was, where you can do it anytime, at least not from what I can tell so far. But there are secret things you can get to within the diorama that you see that it's like, oh, how do I get to that? And then there's definitely replay ability, because the story element, I had to get to those 3 people that crash landed in the jungle. I got to them. I also found the piece that I need to help repair my grandpa's amusement park when I returned from the jungle. But after I did that and I returned it immediately, there was still elements of that jungle thing that I know I didn't get to. So I know I want to go back and get to, because there are collectibles in each of those areas, each of those dioramas. So you can collect bananas. The bananas are currency. That's how you unlock more things to update your character.
They aren't in 6 different colors, are they?
Yes, they are. No, there's actually different colored pieces you can collect too. So with bananas, you actually would get the bananas and then buy the pieces you need. And you can also get things to customize your character. So right now I got trying to look the character like me, except I put an eye patch on myself, because eye patches are cool. But yeah, Bricktales I've been having a lot of fun with. I've been seeing more and more in this game what's available. I think Thunderful Games did a great job on it. There's probably even more that I'll find out about it, and I'll probably do another video like part 3 or whatever. But part 2, I definitely want to show off what I've learned about the game, between the unlockables you find, the collectibles you can collect, and then all the replayability for going back in, just completing and finding everything in that area. So check it out. Look out for the part 2 video, check out my part 1, and also check out their video on it too. In fact, Dan mentioned something about it in Twitter, Dan from RetroLogic, and he said that he was surprised that this game came out and he hadn't seen any advertisements for it, and he said it looked cool. And I came back and was like, it is cool. You should check it out. So by all means, go check it out. But that's what I've been playing. That's what's been taking up my time, and why I have not picked up. I mentioned this in pre-show. Near Automata. How's it? Near Automata. I can't.
Automata?
Automa. that game. I think Marty's been playing that one, but that one I've been wanting to play. It's a hack and slash. I wanted to pick up No Man's Sky for the Switch because I wanted to check that out and play that. But I haven't, because these games have been keeping me occupied. So that's what I've been playing. Let's move on to the community spotlight. Sorry, I just noticed Ebicel asked if Zelda was still crying. Come on, Ebicel, you should know by now. I've completed Breath of the Wild. I did that a long time ago. Where have you been? So, and let's see, Telltale game. Is that was he asking that about the Bricktales? No.
No, I think that came up when you were talking about the card game.
Foretales? Okay, yeah. Nope, none of these games are Telltale games. So Ebicel says he's here giving me grief. So no, I did not play Mecha Dragon. I did not play any more Genshin Impact lately. Like I said, these 2 games have been taking up my time. I do need to get back into there because I've been trying to get up to level 16. I'm only at level 10 in Genshin Impact. And it seems like it's going to, when I jump into it for a couple hours, I get at least 1 level. So, but a couple hours is 1 day, unless I spend all Saturday or something. It takes a lot to get levels in that game. But yeah, by the way, shout out to our community, people who stopped by in our Twitch today. We couldn't get YouTube going today because Restream was down, but thankfully we were able to get the show out live on Twitch. And shout out to, let's see, we got Commander Root out there, Ebicel, Gamer Knight 45, Mecha Dragon 101, Third Strongest Mole in the house, and Ouija 77. Thank you all for stopping by, and anybody else who's been stopped by for a moment and left. Thank you for stopping by and checking us out. So other things in our gamer spotlight, let's talk about our family of podcasts. Don't forget, we have several other podcasts out there that you can go listen to that talk about various things, not just us here in Nintendo or Nintendo Dads. So we got our Game Pass news. That's Nick and Sean. They go over the week's Xbox news and Game Pass releases. That drops every Saturday. Go check them out. You have Dad's After Dark show. So after the kids are in bed and the wife is distracted, John and Drew get together and talk about video games and dad stuff we can't talk about here on our family-friendly show. So even though Justin tries every now and then, and Jesse has to, do the snap, but their show drops every Monday night with an occasional episode in between.
There it is.
There it is. And then we have Retro Logic shows. They have their own family of episodes over there, a whole family of podcasts over there. Not only do they have Retro Logic, where Dan, John, and Sam cover all retro gaming. John over there, he does On Topic Retro, which talks in depth about specific retro games. And every now and then he'll have a guest or guests on to talk about that with him. There's also Retro Groove, which Adam and Liam do over there to talk about the music in all generations and types. And then most recently, they had their Film Logic podcast join their family of podcasts, where you have Mike and Solo Something over there talking about films. So, and Solo Something, if you all don't know, he is one of our executive producers over there. So thanks again, Solo Something. All right. So don't forget to go to nintendodads.org to see all of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts via the Spotify feeds we had posted there, or go to your favorite podcast app and subscribe. You can also find all of them on Twitter, Twitch, and or YouTube. Give them all a follow, please. They would be greatly grateful for that. They also run contests over there. Like right now, Dad's After Dark show is running the monthly mayhem from October 10th to November 1st. They're looking for hashtag Halloween Mayhem, where you can submit Halloween themed photos, videos, or written story, and submit entries via Twitter or Discord. That's our Discord, via their NINDADS After Dark channel. And then make sure you use the hashtag Halloween Mayhem when you're doing it on Twitter. And then the submission will be judged by Drew and John on the following: spookiness, creativity, and Nintendo. So make sure you do that. And then, of course, first place gets $15 eShop credit, and then there's a lottery for everybody else where you get $10. And by the way, you can only submit up to 2 submissions. So that's the monthly mayhem for this month. And then we also have Game Pass News, who does Achievement Hunters, and their latest one is for Deathloop, where you have to submit by October 21st, and their details are posted on Twitter. So go check it out there. Follow Game Pass News to get all their Achievement Hunter posts there, or go check it out on their Achievement Hunters page in our Discord. So keep an eye on that. And also listen to their show. They always talk about details there. So you can win a $15 Xbox gift card there as well if you get their Achievement Hunter. All right. Moving on down the list here, we have a couple of community questions. Well, one actually, because the other one's still for Justin and Marty once they return. But we do have one on behalf of Mecca. Ebicel submits a question. If you had a cutie mark, what would it be if it was a video game? If it was video game related, and what would it be if it could be anything?
For those who don't know what cutie mark are, they're related to My Little Pony. They're the little symbol on on their flank, which when the show was active, my daughter drew a lot of pony art, and our youngest one, and she drew an OC character for me, and the cutie mark was the radical symbol for like square root from math notation.
Okay. Nice.
And I think the name of it was Cube Rut was the name of the character.
Nice. Mine would probably be a number 33 on it, for sure. There'd be a number 33 in there. That's what,
Somewhere.
33 means a lot to me. So it's not just a favorite number. So it'd probably be somewhere in that cluster of items. What else would I have in there? Probably a Matrix from Transformers, for
Oh yeah, the leadership. The Matrix of Leadership.
The Matrix of Leadership. Yep. So I'd probably have that in there. I don't know. And my colors would have to be probably revolve around the movie, The Matrix. Some green, some black, or maybe red and black. I don't know. Something around there. And maybe the Nintendo Dad symbol would be in there too. This one right here on my hat. The mushroom with the mustache and the tie and the headphones. So, but yeah, definitely number 33 there. And my pony would be wearing a hat.
Yep.
For sure. So, and episode says Tim likes 33 because of Naked Gun 33 and 1/3. That is totally it right there. All right. So great question. And that's because we had to answer that because it's in honor of My Little Pony turning 12 this year. Is it only 12? It can't be 12. You mean My Little Pony, the friendship?
I think the Gen 4. Yeah.
Gen 4 one. Okay, it's 12. Yeah, because then My Little Pony's older than that. It's from the 80s.
Right.
So, all right. But yeah, so to be clear, it's from that generation of My Little Pony. All right. So happy anniversary, My Little Pony. Friendship is magic. It's 12. There it is. Okay. All right. And actually, Mecha Dragon, are you celebrating it by playing My Little Pony on the Nintendo Switch? That's what we want to know. Are you celebrating?
I think that game is based on the Gen 5.
Okay.
Which is still relatively new.
Whatever. Are you celebrating one way or another? Oh no, I know how he celebrates. He's going to celebrate by going to another convention and handing out
Choco
tacos. Yes. That's right. Another TrotCon for sure. All right.
He says he's going to buy that MLP game. He hasn't bought it yet.
Okay. Thank you to everybody for stopping by again. And thank you for everybody in our community for always being there and submitting questions and keeping us all entertained. And hopefully we keep you entertained as well. But with that ends our episode. And that ends episode 396 on October 13th, 2022. So thanks to all of our subscribers on YouTube for all 6,000, over 6,500, actually, I believe we have now. I believe we broke the 6,500 mark, if I remember correctly. And thanks to over 1,300 followers and 19 Twitch subscribers. Thank you for following us there. And if you're subscribing to us, you get access to our Discord community. So if you didn't know that and you want to come join us over there and you're having a hard time getting in there, reach out to me at NeoPrime33 in the Discord and I'll help you out. Don't forget, you can get 20% off your Manscaped order with free shipping with codes NINDADS. You can also go to Goodr, that's GOODR.com/NINDADS to get free shipping on any of your items that you get from Goodr.com. So remember those codes whenever you're doing your gift shopping. Don't forget to check out our merch store via nintendodads.org/merch, where you can go there and get our latest shirt, which celebrates our 400 episodes, which we'll be celebrating at the beginning of November. Also celebrates the fact that we'll be doing Extra Life together for the first time live in person, and we'll be doing it in New York. So don't forget about that in November 5th. Also, don't forget, if you're in New York at that time, come see us live and in person too. We'd love for you if you hang out if you live in that area. All right, huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger, Solo Something, Alexander Ocampo, RJ Kern, and Chad Benoist. Check out our website again, nintendodads.org, where not only do you get to our merch stuff, but we have our YouTube videos, tweets, and podcasts over there. We have all our social media links, all of our Extra Life links, our shops, and our merchant over there. You can also, so all those different social media stuff, you can link there, or you can find us on all those social medias by looking for Nintendo Dads, or you can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com, or call and leave a voicemail. We love voicemails. We're old fashioned. So give us a call, 929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music throughout the show. And don't forget, you can download our show on any of your podcast app of choice. And when you do, if they have a review system, please leave us a score or a review to help make us more popular on that podcast app of choice. Like an Apple, give us 5 stars. If anything less, give it to the Mega Dads, like we always say. They like 4 stars. They're fine. Anyways, for me, for Jesse, for Justin and Marty, this is the Nintendo Dads signing off. Check you later.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
If this is your jam, you are screwed up.
Nintendo Dads.